Okay, so Arythea is out of cards. So she declares end of round, and she can't do anything. You don't have any cards, there's nothing you can do. So she's done for her turn. Tovok gets to take one more turn. And he's going to use his ability where he can, well, no, he's not. I was going to say he was going to use his ability where he could discard a wound and draw a card, but he doesn't have any cards to draw, so it doesn't matter. But what could he do? He should try to make the most of the cards that he has in his hand because this is the last turn this round. I think what he's going to do is set himself up for the next round. He's going to play Crystallize, and he's going to use this blue one. And that will let him get a crystal of any color in his inventory, and he's going to take a red. He is then going to play Improvisation, and he's going to discard a Swiftness in order to play Improvisation. And he's going to play Improvisation with the powered up version of it, so he has 5 spaces he can move. He's only going to use 4 of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, so he can end up on the Monastery. And once he's at the Monastery, he can spend 2 influence points to get rid of a wound card from his hand. Yay! So that was a very efficient use of all of the cards that he could have at his disposal in order to get something accomplished and set himself up for the next round. This one is now going to go away. These will get put into his pile. Any wounds stay in his hand and will count against the total number of cards that he can have in his hand. And it is the end of the round. So all of the decks get reshuffled. All of the units get refreshed. Any abilities that you used that were once per round ability will get refreshed. So Arythea's unit gets, her ability gets refreshed. I already flipped over Tovok's level up token. He now has 3 armor. He's so fancy. Shuffle his cards back together. And what you do with the advanced action cards, these are the advanced action cards that are in the offer right now. This is the one that's at the bottom. What you do with this card is it gets put into Goldix's deck, the dummy player's deck. It gets shuffled into the dummy player's deck. So in this way you're adding cards to the dummy player deck. Because you're adding cards to the other player decks as well, generally. So you want to make it fair. Then these two would be slid down and a new card would come up at the top. And that card is Frostbridge. That's the card that's going to be replaced. We're also going to refresh the unit offer. So this unit's going to go away and we're going to get 3 new units. We're still dealing with the regular units because there are no gold core tiles out. Oh look, that's like magic. Put an herbalist on the bottom, got an herbalist. We got a Utem swordsman, he needs to be recruited at a keep. And we have illusionists that can be recruited at a monastery or at a mage tower. These can be recruited at a monastery or a village. And the advanced action card for the monastery gets replaced as well. This gets put at the bottom of its deck. And we get Decompose, is the new one that you can learn at a monastery. The last spell is red. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a red crystal to Goldix, to his collection, and that will affect if basically almost any color now except for white. If we draw a card, we're going to have to draw more cards for him. And this goes to the bottom of the spell deck. The other 2 get slid down, and we now have Meditation, Wings of Wind, and Fireball out in the spell deck. It is now nighttime, So we're going to flip over the board to nighttime. I'm going to roll the source dice. And 2 of them are gold, which means they're not going to be able to be used because it's nighttime. And you cannot use gold crystals or gold dice during the nighttime. Everyone gets to draw back up to their hand limit. Tovok gets 4 cards because he has 1 wound card in his hand. And Arithia gets her full complement of 5. All of our units are refreshed, and we are now ready for the next round. Now, one of the 2 daytime tactic cards that was used is going to be discarded, and I'm just going to, or not, it's going to be removed from the game. I'm just going to choose it at random. So Early Bird is now out of the game. And now the player with the lowest, well actually I have to choose a random tactic card for Goldix first. I forgot to do that last time. So I'm going to mix these up, and Goldix gets Sparing Power, so he's going to go last. That's fine with me. And now the character with the least fame, which in this case is Arithia, gets to choose which tactic she wants. There's From the Dusk, which is the first player one. There's Long Night. 1 time during the round, if your deed deck is empty, you can shuffle your discard pile and put 3 cards at random back into your deed deck. And then you flip the card face down. So it's a way to, if you've gone through your deck a little too fast, it's a way to give yourself another chance to have another turn. Mana Search, this is not a bad one. It's once per turn. Before you use mana from the source, you can re-roll up to 2 mana die in the source. When you're choosing to re-roll dice, you must pick gold dice first, if there are any. That's not a bad choice, especially since right now we've got 2 gold ones in the source. There's also Midnight Meditation. 1 time this night, before any of your turns, you may shuffle up to 5 cards, including wound cards, from your hand back into your deed deck, and then draw that many cards, and then you flip this card face down. There's also Preparation. When you take this tactic, you search your deck for any 1 card and put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. And I think what Arithia is going to do is Mana Search. So she actually keeps this card out in front of her, and once per turn, she can re-roll up to 2 mana die in the source. And that's pretty handy, particularly at night when you can't use any gold or wild card mana. She can do that, and I believe that Tovok is going to take the first player. So the order is going to be Tovok, Arithia, and Goldix. And I'm going to put this one on the bottom. I'm going to put this one on the top. And I want to remember that Arithia has this Mana Search. So, and now the game continues. I should also point out, while I was in super fast mode, that this is an altar, and if you stop at the altar and pay 4 blue or 3 blue mana, you get 7 fame points. There's also another keep that came up, and Tovok is on a monastery, which you did see, and this is a monster den. This is an adventure site, and you can enter the monster den for your turn, and if you do, you draw a brown enemy token to fight. And your reward is 2 random mana crystals, which you find out what you get by rolling the mana dice. So you could get mana crystals from that hole in the ground there. So it's Tovok's turn, and he is on the monastery, I think what he's going to do first is use his ability to discard a wound from his hand and draw a card instead. We have one more round left in Goldix. Now it's Tovok's turn. What is he up to? I know what Tovok wants. Tovok is going to move 2 onto the monastery. And then he is going to play this card with the white mana on it for an influence of 4. And then these 2 cards sideways. Actually, he's going to use his special ability to discard his wound and draw a card. Okay, we're going to save that one. So he's going to learn a card from the monastery, and he is going to learn Agility because that is a really nice one. Agility is a nice card. You move 2. During combat this turn, you may spend move points left from the move phase as attack points, 1 for 1, which is really awesome. So if you have a whole bunch of move in your hand, you can use it as attack points. The powered up version of the card, during combat this turn, you may spend move points left from the move phase, or 1 for 1, or 2 move points for 1 point of ranged attack, which is nice because it's harder to get ranged. But this will go in his discard pile. This gets rolled and got lots of blue. These get discarded, and then he would draw back up to 5, but he's only got 2 cards left in his hand, so, or his deck. And now it is Arithia's turn. What is she going to be up to this turn? She wanted that agility card, so now she's mad. Mad Arithia. Ooh, I wouldn't want to be on her bad side. She can mana search, so she's going to re-roll 2 of these blue ones. Oops, that was a red. It's going to cost 5 to move him to that village because it's swamp. She could do this. She could do move 4 and then a move 2, and that would let her move onto this village, which might be a good place for her to be. And then if she was going to attack that guy, he's fortified, so this lovely ranged attack is going to do nothing. She would have to block 3 and attack 3. Can she block 3? She can. Can she attack 3? She can. Okay, so she's going to attack that orc. She's going to have to block 3 to start with, which means she's going to have to spend a red token to do that, which she's not thrilled about. But then she has to attack 3. She's going to use concentration to get a white mana token, which she's then going to apply to swiftness. And ranged attack or siege attack can be used as regular attack. You just can't do it vice versa. Regular attack cannot be used as ranged or sieged. So that's enough to kill him. So she goes up 1 on the reputation track, and she gets 2 points, which is enough to level. Yay! And this guy goes away. This die gets rolled and put back in. These go away. She deals back up to her 1 card that she has. And now she gets to level up. And she gets to choose between Frost Bridge, which reduces the cost of moving through swamps by quite a bit, which is actually pretty handy. And there's also this Intimidate card, which is pretty handy too. Ugh. You know, I'm not sure it's the right move, but I'm going to take Frost Bridge because I know that at the end of the game, the core tiles have a lot of heavy movement spaces on them. So I'm doing this because I'm hoping that it'll help my movement at the end of the game. Take Frost Bridge. And we get a new advanced action card out. And now she draws 2 new skills to choose from. Plus she can choose the motivation skill that Tovok didn't choose. This is once per turn. You can get +2 influence during the day or +3 influence at night. This one is Invocation. Once per turn, you discard a wound card to gain a red or black mana token, or discard a non-wound card to gain a white or a green mana token. And mana tokens gained this way must be spent immediately, or you cannot utilize the ability. It'd be nice to have some extra influence, but it's also nice to be able to actually discard your wound tokens. So I'm going to take this ability. And this one is going to go into the common, along with the others that Tovok might be able to choose from in the future. I might have just given him a good ability, we'll see. And she's all leveled up, and now it's Goldix's turn. 1, 2, 3. So he is done. Now Tovok gets to take a turn. He only has 3 cards, so he might not be able to do much. We'll see. I think the only thing he can really do is just move. And he'll move here. Just because it'll give him some options on the next turn. And he can't use either one of these cards. So they're just going to go to waste, unfortunately. But that's... Oh, is there a blue in the... No, there's no blue mana in the source, unfortunately. So he can't turn over a tile this turn. So that gets discarded. Now it's Arithia's turn, and Arithia's deck is empty, and she only has 1 card. And she is... Oh, she is not going to declare end round because she is on a village. So she is going to... Is it 3? I think it's 3 points. She's going to spend 3 points, so she needs to use a white mana to heal this unit. Tardar. And that gets re-rolled, put back in. And this gets discarded. Now it's Goldix's turn, and Goldix declares end of round. Tovok gets another turn. And what he's going to do is he is going to turn these 2 sideways for movement and turn over the last countryside tile, which will just get put right there. We'll get another marauding orc out. And it looks like there's also a couple adventure sites. There's a monster den and there's a crystal mines. So that's what's going on over there. So these get discarded. And Arithia has no cards, so she can't go, and that is the end of the round. So we have to get rid of one of the 2 tactic cards that was used by Arithia or Tovok, which I'm just going to do it. Well, I don't think you have to do it. You don't have to do it random, so I'm going to get rid of the first player one. That's out of the game. Let's see, we're going to flip this board over, go to daytime, roll the dice, not bad. The adventure sites get flipped up. We've got an altar and an adventure site where you actually have to kill stuff, hard stuff. This Intimidate card is going to get put in Goldix's deck. And then we're going to slide these down. And we will get a new card in Advanced Actions that is Swift Bolt. We put a green crystal on Goldix's card. And then that gets put on the bottom of the pile. Then these other spells get slid down. This gets put on the bottom of the Advanced Actions. And since we have 2 monasteries out that have not been burned yet, we get 2 Advanced Action cards for that. The units go away. We still don't have any gold or core tiles out yet, so we're still just going to have basic units. But these are nice units. Those Utem guardsmen are very handy. I know Tovok is going to want those. You get to refresh all your abilities that you used. You get to refresh your units. Shuffle your decks. And now we're ready to start round 3. We're a third of the way through the game, and the countryside tiles have all been discovered because Tovok made some quick work of part of the area. So the next tiles that are going to be discovered are going to be core tiles. So we're going to start seeing cities pop up, and we're also going to start seeing some more difficult monsters because those core tiles are going to have Draconum on them. So we're going to have to get better at using our cards to defeat monsters than we have so far. But this seems like a good stopping point for this video, and next time we will go over what happens when we start encountering the core tiles. Thanks for visiting the Dragon Table. I'll see you next time.